Okay.
Hey, Kate.
How you doing?
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call our meeting to order. This being the regular meeting of the Nashville Town Council. For the record, tonight is Tuesday, February 6th, and the time is 7 p.m. Before we get going, I'm happy we got so many people here. I've got one thing I want to say before we get started, in case any of you leave early. I want to thank everybody for the cooperation we had during the cold weather, the snow weather, and all the other kind of weather we had with the holiday things and the complications we had picking up trash and everything else that went on. But we finally got through that, and I appreciate everybody's patience. If anybody was discomforted anyway because you didn't get your garbage picked up on time or whatever, we're okay now. The weather's going to be perfect. Got no more problems until the next one. Okay, thank you very much. The first item on the agenda tonight is to approve the minutes, which is the minutes of the January 2 session, regular meeting minutes. Does the chair hear a motion the minutes be approved? Is there written or are there corrections?
I have a question about,
Okay,
on page 25,
25. Okay,
at the very end, it says, the department heads are planning on having a small retreat to work on a strategic plan. Now, was anything left out, like a small retreat at the beach? Or was that just the way it was?
Those were the words
Okay.
of the meeting.
Okay. But it was a retreat at the beach.
Yeah.
But that was conveniently left out.
and what were you saying, the small retreat, having a small retreat to work on a strategic plan at the beach? That was the...
That was left out conveniently.
That was left out. I don't know about conveniently, but okay. All right. All right, other comments? Okay, there being no, the chair here motion we approve the minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second? Been moved and second to approve the minutes. Is there further discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. The minutes are approved. Also, I'd like to compliment our clerk on the referencing tab she's put in our agenda package tonight. In days gone by, we just got all these in a pile. Then over time, we evolved to little colored tabs. This is the first time we've had them referenced to correspond with the agenda. Kudos to you, Madam Clerk. Okay, the first item of business we have tonight is citizens' comments, and we have a request tonight from Linda Wells to speak to us on a topic concerning Christmas decorations. Ms. Wells, would you come to the podium and state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Linda Wells. My address is, you want my whole address?
Well, wherever you get your mail.
Oh, 1104 East Washington Street in Nashville. Mayor Street and Town Council members, thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. And I will only take about 5 minutes of your time. My name is Linda Wells, as I've already said, and I've lived in Nashville or Nash County all of my life. I remember when my father built our house on East Washington Street, I was about 15 years old, and Daddy said, I'm going to build out there in outside of the city limits, and this is on, I don't know if you're not familiar with 1104 East Washington Street. He said, I'm going to build out there so I will never be in the city limits. And that's when it wasn't anything in Birchwood, it wasn't anything over there but field. And so, and he just kind of liked that country feel, so he was going to get way out there so he'd be out there in the country. But he passed away when he was 48 years old, and little to say, he would be very shocked today to see how Nashville has grown. I love this town, and remember the time when I just about knew everybody in this town. But things change and towns grow, which is a good thing most of the time. I am very proud of the growth of our town, or our town is experiencing, and the fact that our leaders have been able to keep our taxes at a minimum. And which is a great thing. I'm also very proud and very blessed, feel very blessed that our police department's doing an extremely over and above job to make sure that every Nashville citizen is safe. I also want to thank our Public Works Department as well for the outstanding job they do for our town. And to me, they do a outstanding job. I was unable to attend the prior council meetings concerning the new Christmas decorations. Number one, my love for Christmas and what it means to me. Number two, my love for this town. And number three, my responsibility as a town citizen. I have no alternative but to be here tonight to speak to each of you about my concerns. As I drove through, and this is my opinion, as I drove through Nashville during the holidays, I didn't get a warm and Christmas feeling the way celebrating Christmas should give us, like a community feel. I only felt sad. When I saw them, the first time I saw them, it was during the day, and I thought, well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, the decorations. Maybe they'll look a little bit better at night. So when I drove through at night, thinking maybe that stocking would be red, and everything was white, not a bit of color, I just couldn't believe it. The town looked so dark and unhappy, so un-Christmas-like. No glitter, no excitement, and I'm talking about downtown. How our young children must have felt and thought to themselves what in the world was going on. As I read the first article in the Nashville Graphic and the comments made by the advisory camp board members, I was once again astonished because they said we wanted something different. Well, they got it. And they said we wanted something unique. Well, they got that too. Different and unique. That's why we don't want something like someone else has. Well, I think that's absolutely true. No one else has anything like that. Just the comments on social media reflected the feelings of the majority, and I say majority, of the town. Disgust, horrible, crime, disbelief, Nashville deserves better, known as a town with the ugly lights, embarrassment, too small, not sure what they are, no thought put into the process, not Christmas at all, should have asked for more advice. Also included in the Nashville Graphic, and I have the graphics, was this statement was made that the controversy was because of change. I feel personally this statement totally insulted the intelligence of the citizens of Nashville by referring to the fact that some people don't like change. Well, I retired from Nash Rocky Mount Schools, and anyone who has ever worked for the school system can tell you it's all about change. Not always, as in this case, is change good. Change doesn't cover up the fact that these decorations were just plain ugly. Give our town folks a little bit more credit. And other comments, they can be changed, things can be added, color can be changed, improvements can be made. Well, like me, and I'm sure some of our other citizens hope so. This was the first phase. We need more money. Seems like since the money was an issue, the downtown area would have taken care of the first downtown part before spending so much money on the flags going on the side streets, and then the downtown would have looked a lot prettier. Don't seem like money was the real issue for ugly. Chamber comments in the Nashville Graphic. Ms. Beasley said she just wanted the businesses involved to have more input. She said we didn't have any input. I was just wondering why. Does anybody have an answer why the chamber didn't have any comment, any input? This is just what the paper's saying.
Well, I do know that there was several meetings that were held by the advisory board that are public. And I also know that in the Nashville Graphic, there was posted a notice of hearing stating that the public could come in and any one of those businesses could come in and give their advice as to what they wanted.
Well, I went to the town and picked up the minutes for the advisory board council, and nowhere in those minutes that I picked up say that.
Say that there were meetings held?
Say that there was one meeting. The only one I picked up showed one meeting.
I believe there were several meetings that
I
were
don't know,
held.
but the minutes I got was just one meeting. I have them right here, just one minute.
Did you see how many people of the public showed up at the one meeting?
No.
One.
I'm just going by what the people that own the
I understand.
business have said.
I'm just
The
trying to answer
people
your
that,
question.
that own the businesses in the area have said. Mr. Taylor said he would be glad when they were taken down. Be a little bit more tolerant. This is in the paper. Be a little bit more tolerant of the situation. It could have been worse.
I hope you're talking about the other Taylor, because this one didn't say it.
Well, I don't know. It says right here, Councilman Larry Taylor said he was still having conversations about the Christmas decorations. Taylor added he would be glad when the decorations were taken down.
That's a misprint.
Okay, well, I'm just going by, I'm sorry about that.
That's a misprint.
I apologize, but I was just going by what the paper said. I was just wondering how they could be worse. And, Mr. Mayor, could you explain when you said in the paper, once you explain the situation to people, they seem to understand? I mean, what? How did, they seem to
Well,
understand that
is-
they were not quite as ugly as they
Yeah, this is
were?
supposed to be a public comment session, not a question and answer session. But to answer your question, the conception behind these things was to build a growth design. There's more things coming behind what they've done now, and money did what they could do. The people who entered this thing were in it in good faith. They were spending money that they paid from their businesses to generate these things through our municipal service district tax, and they really thought they were doing a good job. The growth thing behind that is that, of course, the money ran out. Is that it got some plan of design coming next year? I'm not sure what it is to add to what they've done now. The coloration, yes, there is some talk. I did hear that there was something to do with adjusting the colors. The other things, I'm not sure what they were talking about, but it's a design plan. As for the design of those things, of course, I don't want to get into a long conversation. You've got other things to do. But the same week that these things showed up in Nashville, I happened to be in Chicago, and they were decorating the town. Boy, they do a big job up there. That little downtown tree is only 65 feet tall. But these types of lights, LED, are all over the place. That's the coming thing now in urban decoration. One, they're safer, there's less fire hazard, they're also cheaper to run. So we're going to see more and more LED lights coming with that. I've noticed in several small towns I travel around down east, they too have got LED lights hanging up, different designs, snowflakes and different things. But LED is coming, so we're going to see more and more and more of that. I'm not sure whether the light emitting diodes, crystals, can be turned into color or not. And they may be, but they were telling me they could do some color things. So it's a matter of understanding what they were after, not so much a matter of, hey, we're ahead of you. I don't think that was in their mind at all. Now, the traditional nature of Nashville, yes, understand. I've had many people ask me, why can't we go back and fix it like we did during the Harvest Festival? Well, the Harvest Festival was an event that even before my time, and I've only been here 45 years.
I remember it.
You remember it?
Yes,
Well, I
yes,
didn't
sir.
think you were that old, but that's still here and there.
I remember it very well,
so
walking
it-
from Nashville
and-
Elementary.
Okay, now, there's also another issue considering the layout of our downtown. When we rebuilt the place down there, many of the things that they were using for tie points to hook these across the road aerials disappeared. You know, the poles were gone, the wires were gone, the hooks were gone. So all we've got to work with now is the steel poles that are down there. And they had to buy special attachments to get into the poles for what they did. And as for hanging aerials across, I don't think we're ever going to reach that point because the poles are just not designed for it. we just don't have that kind of layout without bringing in some type of superstructure to work around them. I don't know whether we're gonna go that way or
Well,
not.
I don't think you see that in many towns anymore anyway,
Yeah. Well,
across the
yeah.
streets. But
And then of course, we're spending somebody else's money. But just an example of what these things cost, Red Oak, did some decorating this year with new stuff. And they did, how many blocks, Larry?
Uh,
3,
They bought 40 units.
40 units?
40
Okay.
units of 32,000.
Yeah.
$32,000.
Yes, $32,000.
yeah, I read that. in
And
the
yeah,
paper.
it's a lot of money involved in these things, just for decorations. But now, as for the season, yeah, we need to put in some color and make it sparkle and all this kind of good stuff, depending on how you want to observe Christmas. Sorry it takes so long.
That's okay.
Okay, go ahead, Phil.
Thank
You'll
you.
finish, please.
Mrs. Hinton said her biggest concern was the process. The contract given to the local company to make the lights did not come before the council. And I was going to ask why, but you said I'm not to ask questions, correct?
I said, engage in discussion. You can ask
Okay.
that question.
Okay.
The question, why they did not come before us, they were empowered to make the decisions. And all the legislation we've passed and everything we've done is chapter and verse on law. Nothing's been done illegally.
That's right. I've actually gone through the statutes myself. I've gone through our ordinances, and they did everything exactly how it should have
Okay.
been. The contract was not regarding services to the town, and therefore did not need to come before the council.
So when the question is the council gave permission to get the new decorations, but they never got a chance to see what was planned on the purchasing, then that was okay too?
No.
I wouldn't say it was okay. It wasn't okay. And if anybody needs to make any clarification on it, we gave the council the right to go ahead and make the decision. What we did not do is to tell them to go out and pick the decoration and stuff and bring it back to us. Now, I'll be one of the first to say we probably should have done that, but we didn't. And this is what we ended up with. Now, were the Christmas decorations the best in the world that we could have done? I didn't say I'd be glad to take them down, but I will say, if I would have done it, I probably would have went the other way. But I wasn't on the committee. And I don't think not for 1 minute that any person that was on that committee didn't put their best effort forward to try to do something new and different.
Well,
Well,
they did that.
They did that, but it did not please a lot of folks in town.
No, it didn't.
And we all learned from it.
Okay.
We all learned from it.
Well, that,
Christmas is gone, we've got 10 months
Yeah.
to go to try to straighten it out and give you a better presentation next year.
Yeah.
But I don't think for 1 minute, anybody on that council, on that committee, did not put forth 100% of an effort to try to bring something new and different, and thought they were doing a good job.
Yeah.
But their taste didn't jive with everybody else's taste. We all make mistakes in life. Now, like I said, Christmas is over with. It's gone. We got 10 months to try to get it corrected or improve on it.
Yeah. And as for Christmas future, I've talked with the people involved in this thing, and they asked me what they could have done differently, and I suggested that they increase their base of input
Right.
and get more people into the decision-making
that
process.
sounds like a good idea.
And I'm not sure how they selected input other for their committee meetings, since they've got a committee set up, and whom they invited, I don't know. I didn't never go to any of them.
Well, even the public notice that's inviting everybody
Yeah, the public notice for their meetings.
for their meeting.
For
And
their
where'd you
meeting,
say the
okay.
public notice was?
It was a public notice for a public hearing based on what the municipal
But where was
service
the public
district
notice at?
in the Nashville Graphic.
See, everybody don't take the Nashville Graphic.
What is your suggestion for how it gets out to the community?
Well, the only thing I could, but like I said, everybody don't take the Nashville Graphic. And maybe just, I remember when Mr. Street was running for mayor, he come to my door and knocked on my door. Sometime, if you walk around, and I'll get to that part in my presentation, but a lot of times when you just walk around and ask people sometime.
Okay, thank you. We're
You
going
know.
over long here.
Okay.
Let's move on.
All right, if the council was sidestepped, then if the buck stops with the town council, it sounds like they didn't have the in-charge information available to answer the questions or the concerns of the Nashville citizens might have. And that's a shame if the council was responsible, but if they didn't need to know all this stuff, when people ask them questions, it just seems like a shame to me. The leaders at the top where the buck stops, should always be made aware and kept informed of any and all things that are going to be, that they are going to be held responsible and accountable for at the end of the day. This is just good business, especially in the public arena. Well, in closing, I do want to say that I did take a survey of 100 people. I asked 100 people all over town, not just certain people, just people I asked. And they said approved, 0 out of 100. Disapproved, 95, and 5 people didn't even notice them. Which that's a shame too, to spend $12,000 on something and you have 5 people that say, I didn't even notice them. And they're people that drive through town. And the comments were just like the other comments, terrible, couldn't make out what they were, didn't even notice them, disappointed, very disapproved, very plain. Half of them had already started going out before, had already started going out, even just right after you put them up. They might as well not even had any. They were tacky, no Christmas feel. They didn't even look like Christmas decorations. Ugly. The most sincere comment of all was a friend of mine that's a retired school teacher, said that she had her 2nd, 4th, and 6th graders riding around looking at Christmas decorations. And she said, I want you to give me a grade on, as we look at them, give me a grade, just playing teacher with her grandchildren, I guess. And so when they got to Nashville, the kids immediately said, grade F, grade F, grade F. And that's what her grandchildren said. Now, I know that's her grandchildren, but that tells the truth when children say that to me. And to me, that's what Christmas is about, children. I believe we should always remember why we celebrate Christmas to begin with, because to me, it's Jesus' birthday. We should always strive to give him our very best. I, along with many other Nashville citizens, feel our little town hasn't done that this past year. Maybe we can come together and make this right as a community that wants to feel and look like one at Christmas time. Maybe we might not look like Chicago or somewhere up there, but you know what? We're a small town. I'm not here to point fingers at anybody, to make my friends that I love feel bad. I'm just here as a concerned citizen wanting to do the right thing. This does matter to many, many Nashville citizens, even if they do not attend a meeting and voice their concerns. Process matters. The process in which we go about spending taxpayers' money does matter. Guidelines matter. Following the guidelines, even if it's not a law, it might be a conflict of interest. That does matter. I would not be at peace with myself after first I failed to come about the alcohol sale. I failed to come for that one. If I failed to be here tonight, I would not be at peace with myself. And this was not put on Facebook. I don't do that. This was from the bottom of my heart, because this is what I feel. Thank you for the opportunity to make each one of you aware of the importance of just what Christmas decorations, which to some people is just Christmas decorations, mean, and maybe the process of purchasing them is really important to the town citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is a presentation by Rick Thompson, who's the Department of the North Carolina Marine Corps League, Senior Vice Commandant. Incidentally, all heroes have to be recognized. About 40 years ago, I was downtown and all the lights went out in my automobile and all my fuses had gone somewhere, and this guy shows up from nowhere and fixes my fuses. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Ladies and gentlemen of the Nashville Town Council and honored guest, thank you for the opportunity to address the Town Council. I realize the Town Council is on a schedule and attending to critical matters, so I will be brief. I am Rick Thomason, 112 Robert Ryan Court, Rocky Mount, North Carolina 27803, and a lifelong resident of Nash County, and I am, as Donald said, the Senior Vice Commandant for the Department of North Carolina Marine Corps League. This evening, I'd like to propose to you the acquisitions of signs to be placed in strategic locations within the parking lots that fall under the responsibility of the town of Nashville. These signs, as you can see, depict the parking spot is reserved for a veteran who has attained a Purple Heart through being wounded in combat. This is not a handicap sign, it's not intended to be depicted as such. This is to acknowledge the heroic action of a veteran, whether active duty, retired, or National Guard, or Reserve, who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for any amount up to and including their life. John 15:13 states, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down their life for friends." It was their honor and duty to protect the country, their family, and the friends they so loved. Every civilization since the beginning of time has honored the warrior, whether it's with gratuitous gestures of wealth, medals, or public acknowledgement at parades and gatherings. But now, there are too many people in this country who no longer understand that after the glory days and the presentations are over, the veteran is still the same friend, neighbor, co-worker, or someone you're sitting beside right now. Too often, we become engrossed in our day-to-day obligations and fail to remember these veterans, what they were willing to do, so that we may enjoy the freedom and lifestyles so envied by the rest of the world. With these signs, we will for once and forever remind them we will never forget. These signs are produced right here in Nash County at the request of the Department of North Carolina Marine Corps League. To date, 190 of these signs have been placed throughout North Carolina. 30 were delivered to Harnett County, 120 to Stanley County, 11 in Nash County for the buildings and parking. The remainder are scattered at VFW posts, American Legions, and businesses. The veteran parking sign you see is the first one produced and has been seen only by Nash County. They purchased the first 10 ever produced. The cost of either sign is very nominal at $20 each. The quality, clarity, and detail are exceptional. I propose that you purchase one of each or more for each parking lot utilized by the town of Nashville, including Washington Street. I offer no installation service, only the sign. The sign would be installed by your personnel to your specifications. Delivery would take place within 2 weeks of payment for a location of your choice somewhere here in Nashville. I would personally like to thank each one of you for the opportunity to address the town council with this proposal. I will now be glad to answer any questions you may have regarding the signs or the Department of North Carolina Marine Corps League.
Anybody have any questions? Okay. The chair will entertain a motion that we refer this to our planning department and let them work with Rick, see if we can find some places to put these things around town, because, on Washington Street, I think we only got 56 places, and some of those are designated handicap. The sheriff's department's got some, and I'm sure we can find somewhere to
But thank you, sir.
do what you need to do.
I'll leave it there for the remainder of the meeting, if
Yeah,
that's okay,
that's
sir.
fine.
I'll offer that motion, Mayor.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Do we move in a second, refer this to the planner to get with Rick, see if we can find a place to put them in? And can you get this together for our next meeting?
Yes, sir, I can do it.
Okay, thanks. Any discussion?
One other question.
Yes.
The signs, now, we have to post them, right?
Yes, sir. The
Just
only
the
thing I will
sign.
supply is the sign itself.
I got you. No problem.
Yeah.
I'm not about to get into installation of those things. That post is $8.50 per foot if you use that post, and I'm not buying those 10 foot. The cost of those signs, as I said, is $20, and that is almost the same thing we have to pay for them.
Right, right.
So
And then
all
some-
I'm doing is trying to get it out there for the veteran.
Right, and some of the property we work on is town property, some state property, and other county property, other issues we have to work our way through. Okay, with the motion's been made that we refer this to the planning department, and there's been a second and discussion. All in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you to town council.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Brian will be getting with you over time, and
Yes, sir.
we'll get it worked out. Thank you. Okay, the next item is a presentation by our Nash County Retail Economic Development person, Susan Phelps, who's new to us. who is the retail economic developer. Susan,
Thank you, Mayor.
welcome to
members
Nash
of the
County. We're
council.
happy to have you.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here. So as you mentioned, I'm Susan Phelps. This is a new position for the county. I'm happy to have Z and Stacy here with me tonight. I was hired by Nash County in November. Came by way of January thanks to having a new baby. So I'm excited to really dig in at the new year to help out the towns of Nash County. So just to touch on a little bit about the responsibilities of this new position as a resource for all of the towns, especially Nashville, just to piggyback off of what you guys are already doing so successfully in your retail development with the intersection at 64 and your downtown area. I hope to be a liaison between the towns, developers, and real estate agents to help bring business to your towns, whether it be small business or retail. Similar to Rocky Mount, they have Alan Matthews, who handles a lot of the retail and small business development within the city limits. There was never anybody doing that for Nash County. So I'm here to help the towns any way that I can in building those relationships. We do still have the Carolina Gateways Partnership, who will focus on the industry and big box businesses. And really, we're going to be at it to recruit and retain small business, maintain inventory on our website. So you'll be able to go to the Nash County website and see available listings in certain areas. I'll plan to be as visible as possible in your community over the next several months and throughout this position. So really digging in deep to getting to know all the players involved. Anytime that you've got a lead or somebody that you want us to reach out to, feel free to contact me. I will be based out of the county manager's office right across the street, so pretty easy access for you guys. So we plan to participate in local and regional associations. We'll be updating the website like I mentioned. We plan to document and report all leads in a timely manner to the county management, and really hope to develop some marketing materials about Nash County as a place to do business. Like I said, we really just hope to piggyback off of what you guys are already doing and be another resource out there to get Nashville, Spring Hope, all of our towns on the map as a place to come and do business. I've been in Nash County for a little over 3 years now. My husband's originally from here. Been working for the city of Rocky Mount until I've came to this position, and my background is primarily hospitality, but I'm excited to get into the retail side of things and have some experience with economic development. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have for me. We're really excited to get in and help you guys any way we can.
Anybody have any questions? We're happy you're here.
Well, thank you. Very
We'll
happy
work
to
with
be
you any way
here.
we can.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, small business is what runs the United States, and retail pays the taxes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the presentation of the annexation petition 2018-01, which is the property that the Smith family gave us out along Stony Creek. The town owns the property now. We want to annex it into the town. What we have to do tonight is to empower our clerk to conduct a study of sufficiency to see if the titles are all in place. Does the chair hear a motion that we empower our clerk to move the sufficiency petition?
Second.
She made the
Oh, you
motion.
make a motion? Okay. And there's a second?
Second.
He seconded,
Second.
yeah.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we empower our clerk to go with the sufficiency petition. Is there discussion? Okay. All in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Opposed,
Yes.
no. Okay, Madam Clerk, we'll see you in 30 days. Thank you. Okay, the next two items under tab 4D and E are sort of related to the same thing. We have been trying to fill our deputy finance position, our tax collector position, and our town manager has recommended that we create a resolution to appoint Melanie Bashore as our deputy finance officer, also as our tax collector, which requires two separate resolutions. Let me read the resolution, as all resolutions have to be read, or should be read, and then we'll move from there. Okay, this is a resolution number 21802, resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Nashville appointing a deputy finance officer. whereas North Carolina General Statutes 15925B authorizes a deputy finance officer to be designated by the governing board. Now therefore be it resolved that the town council of the town of Nashville through North Carolina, the town of Nashville, North Carolina, through adoption of this resolution hereby authorizes that Section 1, Melanie Bashore is appointed as deputy finance officer. Her authority as deputy finance officer is deemed properly designated for purposes of North Carolina General Statutes 15925B and shall be deemed approved to sign the certificates described in North Carolina General Statutes 15928. In Section 2, Yvette Hinton is removed as deputy finance officer, who, she resigned some time ago. And that'll be adopted the 6th day of February 2018 with appropriate signatures and attestations. Okay, is the chair here a motion we approve this resolution?
So made.
Is there a second? Second. Been moved and seconded to approve the resolution. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Okay. Resolution number 2 relates to that in that we have the same person we have to legally appoint as a tax collector, which is resolution number 2018-03, a resolution of the town council of the town of Nashville appointing a tax collector. Whereas North Carolina General Statutes 105349 requires that the governing board of each county and municipality appoint a tax collector. Now therefore be it resolved that the town council of the town of Nashville, North Carolina, through adoption of this resolution, hereby authorizes that Section 1, Melanie Bashore is appointed as tax collector in accordance with North Carolina General Statutes 105349. Her authority as tax collector is deemed properly designated for purposes of North Carolina General Statute 105350 without limitations, adopted the 6th day of February 2018. Does the chair hear a motion we approve this resolution?
So made.
It's been moved and
Second.
seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. It is done. You'll notify her. And it's also required that she be sworn for both of these activities, which will be done as we move forward in time. Okay, under 4F, we've got some tax releases. We have a number of persons who actually overpaid their taxes, and have got some reappraised values, which you can look at, of which there are 4 in number. The chair here motion we approve these releases.
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved and
Grant second.
second, we approve the releases. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Okay. Okay, 4G, we move to budget amendments. We have 3, Amendment 25, 27, and 29, which the town is actually receiving money from different sources. We could handle these collectively or independently. The first one deals with donations of the police department coming to the Hope Initiative for a tune of $1,320, which increases the budget for drug prevention from $49,157 by $1,320 to $54,77. And the second one, Amendment 27, is a contribution to the library of $1,000 from a person named Barbara McGee. We thanked her very profusely for that. And it was recommended to be distributed in our books and special programs, line items $500 to each. So each of those will increase to $13,000. The first one, the books will increase to $13,500, and the special programs by $500 to $2,000. And the third one deals with again another benefaction to the library from the Friends of the Library to the tune of $6,125. And this has been distributed across pretty much the same way across books, materials, and supplies, and special programs and some dues and some education things. The chair here motion we approve these 3 budget amendments. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Okay. Okay, there's a corrected amendment following that. This is in the manager's report, so let me let him get to that. Okay, we're through with the regular business.
No, it's before the amendments.
This is 18, this is 18 back here in the manager's report. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not working on that agenda, I'm sorry. They gave me a last moment agenda here coming in, it's got an amended item on, I'm sorry. Deals with authorizing a payment of an invoice for an issue that got billed above what the requisition was for, and for what the purchase order was for. Would you have to explain that, Hank?
Sure. The first one, the Americam, for $936.68, was a requisition that we've been drawing down on since July. We eventually ran through all the money that was approved and have gone over, and a new requisition had not been performed by the department head. Excuse me, that's yeah, that's right. And then the all-red mechanical for $669.85. That was for HVAC work done in the police department. We had a requisition for an amount of money that was less than what we were billed for. So the work was either performed without approval or something. So either we just have to shortchange them the money or approve this tonight.
And the resolutions, as you know, the council is now legislating the manipulation of the town budget, which we've already been approved. We're actually legislating how the money's spent, which is really not part of our function, but we're authorized by statute to do that. So let me read the rest of the words of the resolution. It says, whereas North Carolina general statutes require a pre-audit to be performed by the finance director before the town incurs an obligation, and whereas general statutes state that failure to perform the pre-audit requirement makes the contract, agreement, or purchase order void, and whereas general statutes further provide if an officer or employees of a local unit incurs an obligation or pays out or causes to be paid out any funds in violation of the pre-audit statute, he and the sureties on his official bond are liable for any sum so committed or dispersed. And whereas general statutes also provide if the finance director disapproves a bill, invoice, or other claim, the governing board may step in and approve payment. And now therefore be it ordained on behalf of the mayor and the town council that through this resolution, the town of Nashville Town Council does hereby approve the following invoices for payment. Americam for $936.68 and All Red Mechanical for $669.85 for a total of $16,653. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be spread upon the permanent records of the town of Nashville, adopted the 6th day of February of 2018 with appropriate signatures and attestations. The chair here motion we approve the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded we approve the resolution. Is there any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. It so carries. You'll notify the business department.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, now it's time for the manager's report, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I'll start my report referring to our budget amendments, of which you have 3 in the manager's report. Budget amendment number 18 is a correction to the highlighted amount of money regarding our PEG channel support and requires no action by the board. It's just a correction to the record. Budget amendment number 26.
Well, for the purpose of this record, you might show us what got corrected.
It's what's highlighted in your agenda packet.
Okay, well,
The current budget amount in line item 10-660-6100 was changed to $13,793.10, changing the total amended budget to $20,549.86. And this is pass-through money we receive from the state that goes towards Andrew Small and his organization to help fund things like our videos of our meetings.
the correction was required because a couple of numbers got reversed in the last document.
Yes, sir. Budget amendment number 26 was money that was transferred within the water division. That way we could make changes to the position that was previously held by our utility maintenance crew leader. It's been reclassified as Public Works Assistant Director. So there's no additional cost to that. And budget amendment 28 moved $1,000 from supplies into travel and education. We quickly went through our training money for the police department this year, and we needed to move that money specifically so the police chief was able to go to the annual police chiefs conference in Cherokee this year. So in next budget year, I think we need to seriously look at increasing the training budget as we've gone through it so quickly. Yes, sir. I have a few things that our departments are proud to report. In Human Resources, we are currently accepting applications for the Assistant Public Works Director, which will handle administrative functions, an accounting technician, Deputy Town Clerk / Personnel Technician, a seasonal concession worker, and also a field supervisor out in the Parks and Rec Department. Our library proudly reports that they're working on the LSTA EDGE grant, which is a technology grant to try and get computers replaced in our library. The Vita Tax Prep program is every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday now. The library is going through a red book sale all month long, meaning that any book with red or pink anywhere on the cover qualifies for a discounted price, a dime for hardbacks and a nickel for paperbacks. They're also doing a Black History movie series each Friday from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. until March the 2nd in honor of Black History Month. Our fire department is also looking to have the Gully Fire District insurance rating revisited by the North Carolina Office of State Fire Marshal. By purchasing a third engine, we believe we would receive some more ISO points that would allow us to go back down from a 5, which we were increased to, back down to a 4. So that's something in the next several months we're going to look at. In our planning department, Brian's working diligently on getting the blighted properties, stormwater, and street and sidewalks plans together for our retreat. And let's make sure we address that. And then in the police department, Tom Bashore is working alongside an organization called Voices of America, which is in the process of filming a documentary on our Hope Initiative program along with other activities. The police department is also working on the North Carolina League of Municipalities certification program for the police department. This is a policy-driven risk management program that if we show that we've developed several policies for risk management could lead to a reduction in our property and liability for the police department that we pay the league every year. We're also proud to report that incidents from January 2017 to January 2018 regarding burglary and larceny are down 31% and 5% respectively. In our Public Works Department, they're going to be working this next month on trying to make some improvements to the cemetery, including pruning the crepe myrtle trees adjacent to First Street, planting creeping juniper on hillside facing First Street in an effort to stop erosion. They're going to trim around headstones in flat sections and remove dead trees in the older sections. I know this is something that certainly needs our attention. Once that's completed in the street division, we're also going to be replacing at least 20 faded stop signs that make sure that we're ANSI compliant. In public buildings, we're going to have to repaint the bathrooms here in the library. They've been badly stained over the years from chemicals being sprayed on the walls, so we're going to go through trying to figure out some colors for redoing that. And also, Jamie's going to be coordinating with Brian on developing a schedule for resurfacing for what's already in the budget for Wynwood and Regency subdivisions. They're next on our schedule for resurfacing with micro. Yes, sir. And then finally, in our Parks and Recreation and Cultural Resources Department, they're going to begin building an informational sign to install at Glover Park beside the playground to let people know about our ongoing programs. And in our athletics, our baseball, softball, and t-ball registration ends on February the 16th. Coaches meeting on February 26th with practices beginning in March. Opening day for those spring sports is April the 7th. And then for adult soccer, games are actually beginning tonight, already at 6:15, and will continue every Tuesday through February. And finally, the Marguerite's going to be meeting with the SAM group, which is the Senior Adult Ministries luncheon on February the 20th to recruit additional tutors for the after-school tutoring program in Nashville Elementary School. Thank you, Mayor.
Any questions for our manager?
How many of those positions posted are new?
New in what respect? As in new to the current budget?
Right.
I believe one, the deputy town clerk and personnel technician position, and then we also just changed and a meeting or so ago, adding the assistant public works director position, but that was because we had a retirement, so we just reorganized that department. That's right.
So there's one new position.
One new position, right. And a couple of those are also part-time positions.
Okay, council comments. Mr. Taylor?
Okay, last week on the 25th of January, I attended the Carolina Gateway Partnership meeting that they had. And our prospect that we thought we had on the hook, we thought they had on the hook for our out on Cook Road project, that business chose to go out of North Carolina, or not to establish a business in North Carolina, so we lost that one. In talking with the representative from Gateway Partnership, she says that we should have 2 more on the hook that she could not disclose at the moment. So I don't want to say that it's dead in the water yet, because she still has a prospect. And when I was a new person with the county that came and spoke with us earlier, we're going to be using your expertise to help us with that also. So we lost the one that we thought we had, but we got 2 more prospects. Hopefully we can at least land one of them.
Larry, was that the leash company?
That was the leash company. They chose another state and didn't say why. So we just lost out on that one. So hopefully we'll get something through the other 2 prospects that we have. Mr. Manager, where are we at on the Lumber Street project now?
On the Lumber Street project?
Condemnation.
The condemnation, where are we?
If you don't mind, I'd like to defer that to Brian, because he's the one that works on that project.
I've been through my paperwork since December, and we did not have a tax collector until tonight, so I cannot do anything until we have somebody in place to sign. So it's not moved at all.
What about the affidavit that
But
you
yeah,
were talking about?
the last meeting we had, all we had to do was get an affidavit
Right.
signed and move
Right.
forward.
What we needed was a tax certificate, and we can move forward with that now, because as soon as Melanie takes the oath of office, we can move forward on that tax certificate.
How much
That
time are we talking about?
it probably could be done that day.
Which day?
It's the day she's sworn in.
When do we plan to do that?
As soon as the mayor and Melanie are available to do so.
Tomorrow morning.
Well, see, another month has elapsed.
I know,
since
that's
the
why I'm
last-
asking, trying to pin you down. We need to go ahead and get that done.
Because we started out with about a 6-month plan. That's been 3 years.
That's been 3 years ago,
Yeah,
so we need to get something done.
yeah.
The rating that you mentioned about our fire rating from a 5 back down to a 4, can we get that rating before we get that new engine in the bay?
No, that's just something that the fire department is already beginning preparations for, is trying to prepare to get ready for, they're contacting the marshal's office to see if that can be redone, and they're receiving positive words that when that engine's received, that we could go through the process again just for the Gullah district without having to go through the process again in Nashville.
Okay, so we are still talking about another 10, 11 months.
Yes,
We have
sir.
to wait for the truck to get.
That's right.
Gotta wait for the truck.
Yeah,
to
you
get.
can't get points before you have it.
Right, that's what I was wondering. Did you know something that I didn't know?
Yeah.
Okay, which you probably do, but anyway. That's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Taylor?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it's very nice to see a good turnout of people here tonight. I'd like to thank Ms. Wells for coming to the council and talking instead of going to social media and talking. I don't pay attention to social media. I do listen to the citizens who come and talk. And so I would say that anytime you have an issue with the town, please do yourself and the council a favor by coming to the council and talking to us instead of social media. It goes much farther. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hammond?
I'd also like to thank Ms. Wells, because it takes a lot of backbone to come and speak before the council, and very few people are willing to do that. And I think you have a lot of support here tonight. And one thing I would like to say in reference to the process that you referred to, and I referred to at the last council meeting, Mayor Street, an advisory council is just that, advisory. before you enter into a contract, it should come back to the council for review. That contract was entered into October the 31st. We had a council meeting, an agenda meeting on the 1st of November. We could have looked at that contract, we could have looked at a prototype and made some decisions, or at least had input. And that process was not followed. And that is so basic. And so, Ms. Wells, thank you, because this needs to be aired instead of swept under the rug. Because that was $13,670 in that contract. And we had a contract that came before us for a fire truck for $548,000. And we looked at that contract, right? Why didn't we look at the contract with those ornaments downtown?
Can I jump in for a second?
Because that was, it was only $13,760 as opposed to $548, but still it was a contract. And the Municipal Service District is a new entity in our state. The legislature allowed us to do this when they took away the privilege tax. And so when we taxed these businesses to the tune of about $32,000, we needed to be very careful about how that money was spent, the process. And as far as I'm concerned, it was a lousy process. And anyway, enough about that. But anyway, thank you, Ms. Wells. Really appreciate it. And I appreciate those who turned out to support her, because it takes guts to do what you did. It's easy to get on Facebook. You can hide, you can be anonymous. But to go eyeball to eyeball with the council and the people sitting around you takes a lot of backbone. And there are fewer and fewer people who are willing to do that. Okay, one other thing, water bills. How many of you got 50 water bills?
I only got 3.
I only got 5. What is going on? Can you address that?
How do they only get one?
Something was wrong
Yeah.
with your feet.
Yes, as y'all are aware, sometimes we have issues with our financial software. We even looked at replacing that a couple years ago. On Friday, when bills were printed, we had significant glitches in our finance system. We tried to print bills multiple times, 4 or 5 times. We'd start printing, or start the process of printing the bills. It would run for several minutes, and then it would lock us out completely. We'd have to call CSI, the software company, to help us get back in. We went through this process the entire day. When the bills finally started printing towards the end of the day, they printed them all at one time, and we had no idea until the process was completed that it was printing more bills than we typically send out. The bills are not sorted in any particular order. They're just 3 to a sheet that we have to manually tear off. We realized that it looked like we had more bills than usual, but what ended up happening that we didn't know until after the fact was that every time that the process was shutting down and locking us out, it was saving that in the computer. So when it started to print process again, it was printing everything that it was loading into the system at that time.
Did
So
you
some
pay
people,
postage on all those?
no ma'am.
2 years ago, we authorized new software for HR and finance. I think it was about $30,000, and we were told that no one could find any software.
It's my understanding, after looking through several different softwares, along with our finance director, and looking on the listserv and NC Finance Connect, where finance officers talk back and forth, I don't think for the amount of money that the town of Nashville at this time is prepared to put into it, that we would get anything much better. If we're looking to pour in $200,000 into a finance software, then we might see some improvement. But I don't think $40,000 or $50,000 to buy something that's going to have its own set of problems would be a good use of financial resources at this time.
Okay, but you brought that to us. You were the one who recommended. You said we had not bought finance software in 10 years.
That's correct. That's correct. There's no doubt that we need improvements in our financial software. I believe it was bought in 2005, 2006, in that time frame. We certainly, we have good customer support, but it does cause us a lot of problems. I'm not saying it's not a problem. It certainly is. It gives us problems every day, but I don't have a good solution that's affordable for Nashville at this time to replace it. Unfortunately, there's just not a plethora of good financial software options for local governments out there. A lot of governments go to software packages like Munis. That's very expensive. We do not have an in-house IT person. If you get a finance software that's sophisticated enough, we'd be having to look at hiring additional staff to help manage this process. So I think it's a lot more complicated than just saying, let's spend some money and it just washes the problem away. We'd have to spend thousands of dollars if we went with a different company to transition, if it is even possible, any of our information in the computer to a new software package. The software we originally looked at was from the same company and included that transferring process, but we've had a lot of complaints from other towns who have bought that Smart Fusion package, and because of that, we felt very reluctant to spend thousands of town taxpayer dollars on something that we didn't feel comfortable would be the right solution for Nashville. So we've made do with what we have at this time.
That glitch, do you anticipate that happening again? Is that gonna happen every month?
I can't answer that. It's never happened before in my time here, but
Okay, it's never happened before.
not that I know of.
Okay.
But I can't answer whether it would happen again.
Okay.
I had a citizen to ask this question. Okay, the 18th falls on Sunday. If they pay their water bill on the 19th on Monday, will they be penalized?
Would they be penalized?
Is that any kind of?
I would say so.
For all the years I've been on the council, if it falls on the weekend, well, a Saturday or Sunday, if a person pays on Monday, they're not penalized. That's been historically.
Yeah, it should fall
Do
to the next day.
you want to speak on that?
Linda, you got some kind of legal reason why that would happen?
Our policy states, the back of the bill state that if the payment is not, if the bill is not paid by 5 p.m. on the 18th, then it is subject to a non-payment fee. So when the 18th falls on a Sunday, when we come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, every payment that is in the drop box at 8 o'clock in the morning is considered to have been received as of 5 p.m. on the 18th, and we post those. Any payment that comes in after 8 o'clock in the morning is considered delinquent, and they are charged the non-payment fee.
We need.
Because our policy clearly states that.
We need
to revisit that.
Yeah, we need to revisit.
We need to revisit that. That's not right.
Because for years, since I've been on the council, if the payment due on the weekend, you have.
These policies were presented to council, I believe, last year, and y'all approved them. So that is the wording in the policy.
She's saying that's the policy that you adopted.
Yeah, well, that's the policy we adopted, but we probably hadn't thought about this, but then if the 18th comes on Saturday, you gotta pay it on the 17th, because you can't get to the office unless you put it in the box.
Well, if the 18th falls on Saturday, we're not in the office on Saturday, so if someone puts it in the box, we're assuming that they paid it on time, so they could have put it in on the 19th. We're not putting the camera out there monitoring it, so if they could pay it on the 19th in that circumstance, then they wouldn't have a late fee.
I think that's something we need.
I think if the IRS will roll you over and give you another date, certainly the town of Nashville can roll over and give you another
We need
date.
to go for a full day because of that.
We need to revisit it.
You want some language for that?
We can look at it.
Yeah, we'll work on that. We'll get some language for that.
So in the meantime, are we penalizing customers?
Yes, because that's our policy. We can't just deviate from our written policies. We have to make sure that we're consistent and not, we have to treat everybody equal, as a government.
Okay, let's move on. Okay?
Okay, I too wanted to thank Ms. Wells for coming tonight and for voicing her opinion. I know it takes guts to stand up here and to speak to everybody, and especially to talk about such a controversial topic. And I also think that there is a problem with the process, but I cannot fault the advisory board or our secretary in what happened with the process. I think that there needs to be better communication. I think that, to speak with what Larry had said earlier, It was on the council to request to see mock-ups of those items, and that did not occur. So there needs to be better communication. I'd like to also remind everybody that all of our advisory board meetings are open to the public. I think that there needs to be a more proactive response instead of a reactive response, where citizens can come to these advisory board meetings to give their input, to say what, things should happen. And then as far as resolution for this problem that we've had with communication, my suggestion would be to make a council liaison for that advisory board. If anyone else would like to do it, maybe we could take a vote. I can volunteer myself to do it. I think that that would resolve any potential issues in the future.
Okay. Well, the mayor appoints people to boards. You want to volunteer, I can get you appointed.
Okay.
Okay.
But thank you very much for coming out, and we do care, and it is a big deal.
We will work on that appointment. Yeah, thank you very much for volunteering for that.
Of course.
Okay. Other comments?
Ms. Wells, and I too thank you for coming, not because you called my name out, did I not say that, believe me, I'm not. But I do thank you for stepping up and saying what you said.
Yeah, okay.
I have another question. Did we ever nail down fund balance?
Yes, it was in a memo, I think.
Yes, but I can try and give you a specific answer, though. It's something I was looking at today. Fund balance, based on last year's audit, which is all I can tell you what we received, currently is at $3,318,146.25. I can repeat that again, $3,318,146.25.
That's what we have in the bank now, based on the last audit.
Correct.
Okay, I talked to Dale today.
Dale Place?
Mhm.
Okay,
And he said the fund balance as of June 30th
right.
was $4,073,000,
That's right. That's right.
less the half of the fire truck,
Right.
262,500.
Right. And it also has to include the money that we appropriated into that capital reserve fund. Because it's money that you have, but it's no longer considered fund balance because it's been restricted.
Exactly, and that was,
So your fund balance is lower than that 4 million. But see, as of June 30th, that 4 million number you were quoted is correct. But since then, I'm trying to give you as close to an accurate picture as I can of today, and that's that 3.3 figure.
okay, so what else came out of the two, besides the truck?
It would be the truck and then the appropriation to the capital reserve fund when we pass the budget.
Which was?
I don't have that in front of me. It's 44,000 or so. Yes, ma'am. And keep in mind, half the money for the fire truck that we just purchased was in the capital reserve fund, but half of it also came from fund balance. So it's not an even split there.
Okay, other observations? Okay, I have a couple of things I want to announce. As all of you know, our longtime fire chief resigned a while back, or retired rather, and we have a new chief in town, Chris Joyner. Chris, stand up. Okay, if you've got fire problems, this is the man to call. Thank you very much. We're looking for lots of good work. Also, we need to set a date for our retreat to work on the budget. Sometime between February 20 and 23 has been suggested. You got your calendars at hand? The 23rd is Friday if you want to do it. Then move on into a weekend. We're planning to do it in one day if we can. 23rd good for you?
Mhm.
23rd good for Larry? Good for?
23rd February?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for me.
Okay. Good for you? Okay. All right, 23rd. Okay. Well, let's see, we normally start, about 8:30? You want to start earlier? What time y'all want to start?
9.
9? Suits
9.
me. 10:30 suits me, but, okay, 9 o'clock works for me. All right, then we'll work till we're finished.
And we're staying in town, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're gonna meet at, right now we're planning to meet in the conference room. in town.
in-
Conference room,
So the press can be there and citizens.
Please come. Okay, all that being said and done, we're at the end of all our activities. Chair, here motion we adjourn.
So move.
It's been moved and seconded that we adjourn. I want to thank everybody for coming, and please come back. We're here on the
Yes, come
first
again.
Tuesday night and the last Wednesday. Okay, thank you very much.
did we said 9 o'clock?
We are now